all your friends you've made on here that are not on here today and tell them you are missing out. That just means we keep going and having fun with the faithfuls. All right. Welcome to day 50 of 60, how time is flying by. Let's do our regular today. Type it in the chat. What's your energy level? 1 out of 10. We have a very special, I would say guest, but it's not even a guest. A very special family member here today I'm going to be talking to. We got 9, 8, 37. I like that. 8.5, 5. Thank you for being so transparent. I want to inspire all of you. Something that happens on these dailies, I think is very special. And that is we come together, we hang out, we have a chat, we lift each other up. A rising tide before we went live, Paul said, lifts all boats. And I think that's important to remember because we're hanging out here in crazy times. I mean, my gosh, I seen a video this weekend, and it was a guy who had been off the grid for a week on some TV show or something. And he come on and they was interviewing him or talking to him and bringing him up to speed on the news. And they said, what has happened? He said, well, in the last week, there was a assassination attempt on a former president. There was a president who stepped out of the presidential race. There was a crowd strike, major outage. I forget 6,000 something flights, if I remember searching correctly, were grounded. All this stuff, and holy crap! The news is updating so fast; it's hard to keep track. Yet we get to come here and hang out with incredible people and discuss fun ways to make an impact. And I share it because a lot of serious things are going on. And I know we are in uncertain times. I also, though, am certain that more money and more knowledge gives us the ability to be better positioned to make a difference. All right. So don't lose faith. It's only going to get better from here. The opportunities continue to grow, and the knowledge you are getting are going to put you in position to make more money and make more impact. So type it in the chat, more money, more impact, more money, more impact. Let's keep the energy rising. I have 2 fun things I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to get in here talking to my brother, Glenn. Tomorrow, we have a jam-packed day for you. So make sure you're here tomorrow. We're going to have fun. I'm going to be sharing with you some really cool opportunities that are coming up. So don't miss it. More money, more impact. Let's go. All right. First off, I want to note for all of you, we are positioned right now, you guys right here, and some of you have heard me say this, but we have several of you who are newer, and I want to ensure that you get this. We are positioned to literally gather dozens or even hundreds of deeds. And I say it like that for a reason. Write this down if you're taking notes. I will gather X number, you fill in the blank, X number of deeds in the next 24 months. If you're new here and you think I've lost my mind, well, we got some exciting stuff coming up that's going to show you how you can collect deeds. I will gather X amount of deeds in the next 24 months. All right. Once you've wrote the number of deeds you're going to gather in the next 24 months, I want you to take your lay your pen down for a second and type in the chat what your number is. I will gather how many deeds in the next 24 months. What's your number? Type in your number in the chat, 75 to 100. Thank you, Jerry. I love the ambition. I do want a special request because you're one of our Boslow members. So I coach our Boslow members and our Freedom Life. I just am getting to the point. So I'm going to suggest that going forward, never put a range. Always pick a number because we can never hit a goal that is not set, right? And the brain goes, 75 to 100 is success. I want a specific. I want to be 87. I want to be 10. I want to be 30. I want to be 100. Whatever it is, I want a specific number. So write this down. Set specific and measurable goals. Set specific and measurable goals. Next. All right. After set specific and measurable goals, write this down. What gets measured gets improved. What gets measured gets improved. All right. I often will start to coach someone and I'll ask them, well, how many sellers are you talking to? I don't know, like 20, 30, 40, I don't know, quite a few, right? Well, we can't improve what we don't know. So all of you, I want you to know how many calls you've made. Track it down, even if it's just a little notepad that the Capital One Cafe gave you. Just track it down, all right? How many calls are you doing? Mark it down every day when you're doing calls, all right? Track it. When you get a contract, how many calls led to this contract? Boom. Deal closes, you get a check. How many calls led to how many contracts to get a check? Because 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, you're going to need to know, I need to talk to 100 sellers to get 10 contracts to close 8 deals. All right. What gets measured gets tracked. What gets tracked gets improved. So we're going to be gathering a lot of deeds. Glenn and Carrie is going to be gathering a lot of deeds. We're going to be having a lot of fun together. Our Buffalo community, you guys are going to be gathering deeds. Our Freedom Life community, you guys are blowing it up. I'm grateful for each of you. And I want to challenge you. While setting goals is good, write this down. What is my action step? Some of you, your action step is to get on the phone for the first time. Some of you, your action step is to team up with somebody else from the community. Some of you who are new here, your action step is to go to apply for a call with our team and find out which of our communities you are best fit for, right? Some of you, your action step is to do what you already know, but you've been putting off. Maybe it's to joint venture up. Maybe it is to just finally say, screw it, I'm going to pay for leads. Now, not if you're brand new, but for those of you who are active in the business, maybe time to buy some leads. All right. So what is my action step? Get clear on your action step. All of you, telling you it's going to be life-changing when you start putting in these actions. All right. I cannot believe day 50 is here and soon will be gone. But we have 9 more days after today, and every single one of them is jam-packed with a lot of fun stuff. So today, I want to share with you a very dear friend of mine, Freedom Life family member, one of the very first people to join the Freedom Life community when we launched it here a while back, and they're blowing it up. They're killing it. And they, last I knew, they had 22 deals on the board. And I love to see this, right? I want you to see a product of the product. I want you to see someone who has come into the family, plugged into the tree, and begins to blossom in a way, right? While I show you the good, the bad, the ugly, I want today to be all about seeing someone else besides Leo and I and our team, which you're going to hear from Ahmed in the coming days, and how he's blowing up the real estate investing business in our world. Today, I wanted to be focused on how someone can come in and plug into the tree, working a 9 to 5, and begin to blossom and make a lot more money and making new impact and new levels of energy. Man, you guys are shining bright today. So Glenn and Carrie, give them a virtual hand. Welcome to the virtual stage. How y'all feeling today?
Great. How are you doing?
I am awesome. It is a beautiful, partly sunny day.
Here too.
So, fill us in a little bit, Glenn and Carrie. You guys, I know people see you killing it now. You guys are blowing it up in the real estate investing business. But when we met back when you guys were coming into the world, you were growing, you were still working a full-time job. So just kind of give us number one of how it started, and then we'll get into how it's going. But let's get into how it started first.
Oh, how it started, we were like everyone else, got into this thing, messed it up, had a dozen chances to quit probably 6 times, came back, all that good stuff. And it took me 6 months to get my first deal. And when I got that, I messed it up. The owner got mad at me, cussed me, and Carrie came in and brought in her charm and actually ended up listing the house and saved face. So, we got our money back, sold it to another investor that now we're friends with, met our first private money lender out of that mess up. So out of that mess up, a lot of cool things happened. But it was tough going the first 6 months.
So you're getting comments about your sign. People are loving that.
Oh yeah, I got all
So
kinds of cool signs. You can't fix stupid's one of them. I'll just throwing that out there.
I love it. I love it. Keeping that energy up. Something I think is interesting. So you at another time had joined another coaching program, you begin to get some deals and you started kind of that deal flow. You're still working full time. So take us back when you had a chat with Leo and I and ended up plugging into the Truca tree.
Yep.
That's the name of our main company for any of you that didn't know that. It's called Truca. So for plugging into the Truca tree, where were you at that time?
We had a few deals under our belt, doing all rehabs. And of course, with my construction background, her property management background, that's what we did. That's what we knew. That's what we loved. We didn't know anything creative yet. Um, so yeah, we had a few deals under our belt, and about killed myself doing the first two rehabs myself. And but that first shut up check was good for sure. And then we met you, and our life changed for sure. When we, is a lot of people don't realize when we came into freedom life, it won't like it is now. It was in the new stage. And so we've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of people come through, and it's changed our lives for sure. We're completely different people than we were, I think it's been a year and 6 months, 6, 7 months, something like that. Uh, we're completely different people.
And there's less of you, isn't there?
There is less of me. I've lost weight. We've, done a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, we've been to Israel and sold a deal and decided to go to Israel and go on a Holy Land tour and paid cash for it out of a wholesale deal. That's how this business works.
Way to go. I love that. And I love that you guys make this business support your dream life,
Yes.
because I think that's something where so many people come in, and this is a good note for any of you who are newer to this business and not yet here, or for those of you who are stuck here where I'm about to describe. But the quote normal way that I see this business done is the people who come in and start getting deals and start getting checked quickly become a slave to the business. And then it becomes a hamster wheel, whether it be the fix and flip, the wholesale hamster wheel, whatever that is. And our objective is to inspire you all to make this business work for you. This business is supposed to dump you money, not the other way around, not supposed to be a time sucking, energy sucking machine for you. And so, as quickly now, is there a hustle? Is there grind? Is there work to be done? Of course. But as quickly as possible, this business needs to be paying you and supporting your dreams, not the other way around. So, what was that shift for you, working full time to then beginning to start to live your dream, hire a team, all of that? What was that like?
We got plugged in with you, obviously, the freedom life, got the DNA, and made a decision. And 2 or 3 months after we signed up with Freedom Life, my notice was done, left my job, all that good stuff, left that career. My boss come in and offered me double my salary in the corner office and threw the whole gamut at me. And it's a very liberating moment where I looked at my owner there of 23 years, and I had it made. And I told him in respect, you cannot buy me. You know, this is about freedom. It's not about money. And I remember him sitting back in his chair, like, I get it now. And I walked away, and when I walked away, I burnt my bridges in a proper way. But there is no retreat, no going back. This was what I was going to do, and we committed and began to go through the scale process, the learning curves, the cash flow issues. being asset rich and cash poor. We've run the gamut, done all that stuff. And now here we sit on a whole nother scale. We're kind of in a phase two scale now, where it's just, learning a whole nother situation of the business, which is amazing. We used to struggle to do 1 to 2 deals, and now we're doing multiple deals, and it's just as easy. It's probably easier, I really think at this point.
Okay.
But people, our success right now is because of the people in our life, period. We have the right people in our life. We have the people we want on our boat. We pretty much emptied our boat of the people we don't want. So we have no dreams stealers in our life. Everybody that's in our life right now is part of our culture, our DNA. They bring high quality, high value, and that's why we're successful. It's who you hang around, it's who you become. And we have the DNA of Truca, the freedom life, and now we're reproducing it. It's fun. We have someone in our life now who's come into our life, and he's already left his W-2 job. So it's starting to replicate. Hey, I've done it. This is how you do it. And it's a decision, man. You got to be a cliff diver. That's what we are. We just jump off
Cliff
cliff.
diver.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important, something you said there. You didn't use this exact frame, but you whack the dream stillers. And
We
you
whack
start
them.
Yeah.
attracting the right people. And I think that's a writer downer for all of you. And that is attract the right people, whack the dream stillers. And for some of you, that is the hardest thing to do, because we somehow, as humans, I think are subconsciously made to believe that we somehow owe it to certain people around us to allow them to be at a certain position in our life. And once we realize that that is keeping us from actually living our purpose, we go, wait a minute. We don't have to be mean. We don't have to be harsh, but we also can't continue to live 5% of our purpose just so someone else doesn't feel bad. So write this down if you're taking notes. I will step into my greatness. That's something I've watched you, Glenn and Carrie, do in such a powerful way, is step into your greatness at a new level, because it was there. You pastored for many years and you helped people in many ways, except you hadn't yet stepped into your full power because there was still all this brain boogie going on. So what's the mindset shift? And we'll get into a little bit of the nitty gritty of the business in a moment. What was the mindset shift for you guys to go from that equity rich, cash poor, to then stepping into realizing that while at any level, whether it's 100K a month or 10K a month or 400K a month, we have to learn cash flow management. We have to learn all these things. But what's that mental shift been for you that took you from struggling in a couple of deals a month to now doing many, many deals in a good month?
Well, obviously, I go back to a conversation me and you had, with me, you, and Carrie. We sat down at a table at an event. I don't know if you recall that. And I sat there and had to tell you, Andrew, I suck. We're asset rich and cash poor. This sucks. What do I need to do? And because we're part of the tree and a part of the family, you sewed into us, and within a half hour, we had a fix. And we came back from that event and implemented, and now we've completely shifted our complete business model, where we are doing more partnerships with private money lenders and real estate agents, and we're just phasing into a new era of our business, and it's fixed our cash flow, and it's created opportunities to bring more amazing people into our life. And now all the people that's in our life gets to have that direct impact of, all these other people that's in our life. And, now we're making money buying houses. We just don't have to sell houses to make money. Now we're doing it all. And hey, being a part of the right people, get the education and just get it done. It'll just set you on fire. But I want to step back a minute. When you're a cliff diver and you're really serious, when I left my W-2 job people don't know how painful it was. I really struggled, because, man, for 3 decades, that's what I knew, grew up in it, that hamster wheel. And I turned the TV off. I turned the whole world off. And all I did was podcast. All I did was read books. All I did was become a sponge out of the fire hose. And I did whatever it took. And I educated myself and I plugged in whenever I had a chance to get on a podcast or listen to certain people. That's what we did. And it changed everything. So there is a price to pay. And there is a gap you're going to face when you leave that W2 and leave that world. You're going to feel alone. You're going to go through this emotional roller coaster, but I promise you, don't go back. Keep crossing the lake because it's beautiful when you get to the other side. But our whole world is completely different. I don't even remember the person I was working the W2 job. I mean, I'm a complete different person. So it's just, man, you gotta be a part of this Freedom Life family and the Truca family. I'm telling you, these Andrew and Leo are the real deal. They're not faking it. These guys are amazing, and the team behind them is amazing.
Well, and thank you for that, Glenn. And we are surrounded by the right team. And I think that comes back. Something huge that I've noticed about you and Carrie is you go do the thing. And so let me ask all of you a question. Would you rather, at the end of a year, own 5 houses that on average have a 20K equity spread or profit in them, which is 100,000, 5 houses times 100 times 20,000 is 100, do the math. Or would you rather own half of, we'll do the math, 20 houses that you got paid 5K to buy? Let me say that again. Would you rather own 100% of 5 houses that you intend to make 20K on? Or would you rather own 50% of 20 houses? Means you would only make 10K on each. Half of 10K times 20 is still 200. And you got paid 5K to buy it. All right. This is the concept I taught Glenn and Carrie that they immediately went and implemented. Right. I would much rather own half of 20 houses and get paid up front to buy them, so I'm cash rich and equity rich, than I would 100% of 5 houses. So you won't hear this taught on any seminar anywhere that I know of, because I made it up as far as I know. I don't know anybody else doing it except the people in this tree. So I share this because this is the type of stuff that we create when we work together. We're better together. And I think, again, I commend you guys. It's day 50. You realize that after today, for those of you who have been here every day, we've been hanging out for 25 hours together. This is a blast. I also don't know any other people out there giving you 25 hours for free, just a side note. So you're welcome. So for all of you, I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful you come and spend this time with us. So how many of you are enjoying this? I have several more questions for Glenn. We're going to get to 2 more, and then we're going to get to your questions. So if you're enjoying this, type it in the chat. Yes. Get the yeses rolling. Yes. We're getting the yeses rolling. This is good. They love you, Glenn and Carrie. All right. So 2 more questions. What's your best lead source right now?
We've done very well with REI Print Mail for a while. That's our bread and butter as far as a pipeline. Need to sell my house fast. We've done well in Liberty Leads. They're our 3 lead sources that we've been using for a while. But honestly, right now, networking is bringing us over 50% of our deals.
That's amazing. And it's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
I like that. What has been, so you retired from fix and flipping. Congratulations.
Yes.
So
On my last one, baby. Yes.
that's good. And welcome to the other side. You will find your life is much more enjoyable.
Yep.
So whacking the fix and flipping, what's your number one way of doing deals going forward? Are you doing some wholesales, some holds? Are you just doing terms on everything and holding? What's the strategy that you're working well for now?
Terms,
And more term.
more terms, pile the terms on. Example, just to throw it out there because I'm so excited about this deal. We just got a house for 50. Before we closed on it, we had it pre-sold for 150 on work for equity.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
20K
whoa,
down,
whoa, whoa.
$1,500 a month. It don't work in North Carolina though.
You just turned a 50K house into 150K over time.
Yes.
On a lease option, plus you're getting rent every month.
Yes.
Yep.
How many of you, if you knew you could put out 50K and it come back as 150, could figure out where in the heck to get 50K? Type in the chat, I could. All right. And if you think you can't, you're wrong, because you can, because there's somebody else probably to your right or left on this screen who could come up with 50 and would partner with you. All right. So every freaking one of you can come up with 50K if it comes back as 3X. All right. So this is the whole game. This is the whole game, guys. And forgive me, I get excited when you say those numbers, Glenn. This is
I'm excited too.
Yeah, because it's literally freaking doing the thing, right? And the limiting beliefs are gone. And I just commend you for that because, maybe you're new here. And I notice on the internet, because everything we read there is true, right? On the internet, there's all these people who, when they see a post about buying a house, immediately, I seen the other day, someone had said, buy 10 houses by the time you're 30 or something like that. And there was comments, and I was like, let's see what's being said. And they're like, oh yeah, that sounds easy. I wish I could buy one, let alone 10, all of these comments. And you begin to realize the limiting beliefs that people have because they don't know what you know. All right. But because you're here hanging out, you begin to realize it's not about needing to have millions of dollars in the bank to suddenly one day go invest and become even richer. It becomes a mindset of knowing how to put deals together. And if you don't have all that money, maybe you leverage credit, maybe you do whatever, but you begin to put deals together, and that's where the money's made. So any lines of wisdom, I have to ask you, Carrie, how is it? You're a broker, you run a brokerage, absolutely brilliant. And thank you for what you've been sharing in the groups. I want to talk more about this and what the new realtor rules are coming down. But from your perspective, working side by side along with Glenn as spouses and partners, what has been the most exciting part of doing that? And what's been the most challenging?
Well, most of it's exciting, because I can pick what houses I want to sell of ours and which ones I don't. But the best part of it is sharing with other realtors how this can be done, because a lot of them think it's a scam and it's not. And everything is legal. And I think, and that would probably be the most challenging part of it, is for realtors that are out there and they've never had any of this 60-day training or any kind of training to, don't feel like you've got to explain a way to them, because they're not going to listen. Most of them are not. But if they're there to learn, you just, share. This is for everybody. There's enough houses out there, with us coming from the church background, we always say, in North Carolina, there's a church on every corner. There's a house on every corner for everybody. There's plenty to go around.
I love that.
Even though it doesn't work in North Carolina. Saying
abundance, baby.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's do this. We are running out of time quickly, but I want to make sure we get to your questions. So what questions do you have for Glenn and Carrie today? May even jump in and answer one or two if we get any, but let's get to a couple questions, Paul.
All right. First question for Glenn and Carrie today is, do you stay in your market or do you do any deals virtually?
We pretty much have a 45-mile radius. We stay right here. We don't have to do anything virtually, so we choose not to.
All right. Next question for Glenn and Carrie is, where in North Carolina are you?
We're in Ayden, North Carolina. That's right outside of Greenville, home of the ECU Pirates.
Pitt County.
Okay. Next question here, for maybe for yourself, Andrew, or Glenn and Carrie. What paperwork do I need to sell a contract, or do I just assign it?
Who wants to take that? Glenn or Carrie?
Take it, Carrie.
With our, well, you can use, depending on what state you're in, most contracts are assignable.
And the ones that you pull off the circle, you can absolutely assign, unless you're in one of the handful of states that, you know, don't
Yes.
like to
The,
assign.
the one on circle is 2 pages. The North Carolina Realtors contract is 17 pages. Just saying, which one would you rather use?
So go on circle.
Good stuff. Next question comes from Delsa, and she says, how do you get paid at front when buying a house in a partnership?
I wholesale it into our partnership. So I get a wholesale fee.
And then you keep owning half of that partnership or more.
Owning half the partnership.
All right. Next question here comes from Timothy, and we're actually gonna, Timothy is one of our masterminders. We're gonna go ahead and unmute him for this. And Timothy's question is around doing a JV with a contractor on a wholesale. So maybe a little similar to the question we just had. And he's wondering about entity setup, but go ahead and fill us in on the details there, Timothy.
We actually had a wholesaler bring us what he thought was a property to buy. The contractor has 300,000 invested. He's willing to wait as long as it takes to get that back. He needs us to bring in someone who can do the plumbing for him because he's not an actual general contractor. We're wanting to either limit a limited liability partnership with him or junior or joint venture with him. We have no idea how much we should charge percentage wise to set this whole program plan together. It should, because of where it's located and what's about to happen in that community. Eli Lilly Pharmaceutical Company has invested between $5.3 billion and $9 billion to build a new plant. This house has 5 bedrooms, I think 3.5 or 4.5 bathrooms. And it's 4 blocks from downtown in the small little community. We have a after repaired value of 360, but it's probably going to sell based on what we know is about to happen to that community because we live 10 miles from Eli Lilly's corporate headquarters. It's probably going to sell at least 550, 600,000.
So the first thing that goes through my mind is if I'm going to write a check on a deal, I'm always going to get a lien or a deed.
Yes.
The second thing that goes through my mind is if I am just adding value to someone else who already owns the thing, I am just going to do a joint venture agreement and agree on whatever is a win-win. And it sounds like in that case, a smaller percentage of the profit is probably a fair thing for bringing in the people. But again, he who writes check should have ownership. So let's do this because I want to dig in and make sure I fully understand the moving parts. Tim, let's hop on a 2-minute chat once this call is over before we get to the next call.
Okay.
All right. Beautiful. Any more questions?
Great question. Thank you, Tim, for that. You know what? We have our awesome community members, Russ and Amanda. They had a comment, and maybe Glenn and Carrie have some insights on this. They said, I want to get my assets moving too. Right now, we're asset rich, a little low on the cash flow. Any comments on that, Glenn and Carrie?
Hey, the partnership model, I would just tell you, we're doing the partnership model and we're switching a lot of our private lenders. We have quite a few private lenders. We're slowly switching to a completely partnership model with our private lenders and our real estate agents. And we are thinking partnership on everything we do now. If you want to set up a call, we can go more in detail, but that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. And
Last
Russ
question.
and Amanda, you guys are perfect for that model. You're very experienced. You know what the heck you're doing. You know how to close deals and you know how to turn things to a win. So great thinking there.
Our last question today from Sharon Cooper. And she asks, what is the best way to find private money lenders?
Go ahead.
Network, network, network. It's become, I think, a strength of ours to find private money. We've got more private money than I ever dreamed we would have available. But if you treat people right and you pay people back and you do things right, other private money lenders will bring you other private money lenders. And one thing we do, we pay a bonus to anybody who brings us a lender, and people love those bonuses.
Mhm.
Awesome call today. Glenn and Carrie, thank you so much for all the valuable insights and for letting us see a sneak peek into your guys' amazing business. Very excited to see all of you tomorrow, the same place, the same time. We have a jam-packed week ahead. Day 50 of 60. Congratulations to all of you for making it. Give yourself a great big applause for being here. See you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys. I'll talk to you in a moment, Tim.